I know. I'm finally getting to requests. And it's somehow still not what you asked for. It's like when you begged for walkie-talkies for Christmas and instead you got 2 soup cans with a string attached. How on earth am I supposed to pick up frequencies of people having phone sex with 2 empty cans of cream of chicken, Mom? Today we're continuing the Teen Mom Deep Dive series, and what better way to grant your wish for the Farrah Abraham episode than by giving you a completely different one. Hear me out. 2 things. 1, I decided that since I cut my hair, I really like it when it's up. Ironic. It's like rain. Also, I decided that since I like Teen Mom 2 way more, and I started with Janelle, I'm just gonna make my way through those girls, and then we'll head over to OG. And then if we're feeling really frisky, we will go to Young and Pregnant, because there's all kinds of crazy shit happening over there.
Jacob can't stand the fact that I'm having a kid with his best friend.
But for today, I want you to buckle up, light up a Marlboro menthol, grab the girlses, pop your pillses, because we're heading to West Virginia to talk about Leah on today's episode of The Evolution of Teen Mom.
We were only dating 1 month before I got pregnant.
My hair looks like I was a mom.
Your hair looks like sex, man.
Monkey, answer me!
Being 17 and young, it's hard.
I am terrified to speak in front of anybody.
Jesus God, Leah.
So in terms of these Teen Mom videos, I have made one other in the past, and I intend to pretty much cover all the girls. So if you haven't seen the one I did before, it was about Janelle. I'll put it up there. Just a quick reminder to make sure you're subscribed. Still subscribed if you want to be. Notifications on. Comment. Like the video, blah blah blah. Also, I'm gonna say this out in the opening rather than at the end, because if you don't stick around, you're never gonna hear it. But I'm doing a 20K giveaway here on the channel. We're like 600 some subscribers away from 20K, and I'm not a big numbers person, but I do want to do like a fun little giveaway once we hit 20K. I have no idea what the parameters are yet, but I think I know what the giveaway is gonna be, so hope you like worms. I'm just kidding. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Teen Mom franchise, quite frankly, I don't know what you're doing here, but I welcome you just the same. Did I mention the 20K giveaway? Just real quickly, Teen Mom and Teen Mom 2 are spin-off sister shows.
Hi, sisters!
Of the original iteration, which is 16 and Pregnant, which was designed to follow young women through an unexpected pregnancy, typically in high school around 16, 17 years old. From how they handled their pregnancy, to how their families handled their pregnancies, how their peers handled their pregnancy, to childbirth, to aftercare, to, you know, all of that, the way their relationship evolved, if they even had a relationship, and, you know, all the other really fun parts of being a depleted, exhausted feeding station, as you are in the early stages of parenthood. Teen Mom and Teen Mom 2 carried on past that, so you could watch the girls struggle to make ends meet, or, you know, end up displaced, or have to figure out, you know, how things go if their relationship didn't pan out, etc., 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 all the way until they've made more money than I will ever see in my lifetime, just because I was like an angry pothead virgin through most of high school.
Strung out on weed?
A couple trigger warnings for this video, just as a heads up. There is talk of pregnancy loss, and I will let you know when that's coming. And there is some drug use as well. The thing about Leah's story that I really liked is that I ended up being able to relate to it in my 30s. On my spin-off show, 31 and Pregnant, you'll see how I relate to a 17-year-old. Leah met her boyfriend Corey, and they had only been dating about a month before, this is not the part I can relate to, but they'd only been dating about a month when Leah fell pregnant with twins. That's the part I can relate to, is the twins. It's 2 babies at a time, one day, 2 babies. Forever. I myself have twins. When the ultrasound tech said, hey, there's 2 babies in there, I promptly yelled, holy shit! So I can't even imagine receiving that news at like 16 or 17 years old, because I was 31 and pregnant. Leah herself grew up in West Virginia with her brother, sister, and her mom, Dawn. who then married her stepfather Lee. It's really interesting the way the episodes circa 2008, 2009 look, because it's a very, very distinctive style choice in hair and makeup. It absolutely dates these episodes. For example, Leah's crunchy, scrunched hair with pin straight bangs. You'd never believe that that was an actual thing that people did to their hair, but it was. So Leah and Corey, despite the fact that they barely know each other, they are trying to figure out how to set up shop to have 2 kids at one time. And one of the most memorable moments came when they were looking at a property to move to. And, well, I'll just show you.
Oh my god. I can't. Please go.
You gotta get in.
Iconic. One tiny girl and her tiny bladder versus a whole lot of baby. Leah gave birth to their twins, Aliana and Leah, in December of 2009. And a few months in, Leah and Corey went their separate ways. Their relationship had been kind of rocky, which makes sense with that sort of turmoil in your life.
I'd always had doubts about Corey.
I want to know what to do and how we're going to fix it, or if we're even going to fix it.
I don't even know if that's fixable.
And they had only been dating a month, you know, before they got pregnant. So they separated after Corey found out that Leah had cheated on him with her ex-boyfriend Robbie.
And I realized pretty quickly that what I wanted all along was to be with Corey.
This is Robbie. Now, for whatever reason, this kid is like the catalyst for so much turmoil in Leah's relationships. I don't have the exact timeline, but as I understand it, Robbie and Leah had broken up, and Leah then went and hooked up with Corey after they'd been seeing each other for very little amount of time. Evidently, there were still feelings there, but again, I'll never understand it. I mean, like, Corey's not like, I don't know, who do you kids find attractive nowadays? Wayne Newton? He's no Wayne Newton. But he sure as hell ain't this kid. If you kind of look at this relationship timeline, you have to remember that this is like Leah between the ages of 16 and 18, and that feels like a lot, not to be shamey or judgmental, but like that feels like a lot of sexual activity for someone who is so young. And it's interesting because the only excerpts I read of Leah's book are one that I'll talk about later, and the one where she talks about her mom, and her mom basically like setting her up and forcing her into sort of intimacy with other, like, with boys, and they were like their buddies in that way, and it made me really uncomfortable. So eventually, after Corey decides he doesn't want cornbread right now.
I was hurt really bad. Now, I don't mean to upset you, I really don't. I want to work it out for us and the kids, yeah. But do I think it needs time? Yeah. I don't want no cornbread right now. What the hell is it?
Leah and Corey find their way back together and eventually end up engaged.
Reel that in, Leah.
No.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Leah and Corey get married.
I, Leah,
Take you, Corey,
take you, Corey,
to be my wedded husband,
to be my wedded husband,
to have and to hold,
to have and to hold,
from this day forward,
from this day forward,
for better or for worse,
for better or for worse,
for richer or for poor,
for richer.
It's really sweet and happy times, at least until we find out that Leah cheated on Corey again with this. And that was the night of her bachelorette party.
So I heard a rumor the other day that you had sex with Robbie like right before a wedding. Is it true? What's that mean?
that I cheated on you. We were just fighting really bad and you weren't being affectionate at all.
And evidently this scene is a reenactment of sorts because I guess, as I understand it, Corey had also cheated on Leah but left her kind of out to dry in terms of sharing that in their story.
I was drunk and I didn't even think about, like, I
don't care how drunk you are. There's something in your head called common sense. Just knowing better.
And this is all, like, alleged. This is, you know, I obviously don't have the cold hard facts. I wasn't there. I'm not either one of them. Leah is encouraged to file for divorce.
This is your petition for divorce. You're sure this is what you want to do?
I mean, I don't know what to do. He doesn't want to be with me, so.
Okay. So I think the key right now is to go ahead and file. You want to be the one who's driving the bus. Otherwise, you're the passenger on the bus. You know, we have to protect you, and that's what we're here to do.
I think it's a really important thing to note that during this entire time, since the day her daughters were born all the way through this, there's been a growing concern about their daughter Allie's health.
I want you to look at her leg, like how it's like in.
This one looks worse than that one. When you pull them down.
See, watch her, Leah. She like stands up on them, and I can hold her hands, and she stands on them.
And Allie won't do that.
No, watch. Try it on her. But like she just like doesn't put any pressure on them at all.
That's not normal.
Do you think I should take her to the doctor?
Well, yeah,
like,
because that's not normal.
She starts to see a lot of doctors and specialists.
There's certainly things that aren't working. There seems to be some nerve root injury that's causing this. She probably needs to have an MRI of her entire spine.
And we spend a solid maybe 4 or 5 seasons going through this turmoil with Leah and Corey to find out what's going on with Al.
What do you say?
I don't know. They said they're going to do an MRI, but...
Are you okay?
No. My baby should have to deal with this.
They're taking MRIs of her spine, of her brain. They were doing muscle biopsies and all of this just to try to figure out what's holding this little girl back. Needed some physical therapy with early intervention, and it sort of drags on and on and on, and you're kind of watching these young, very young parents grow, kind of go through this really excruciating process of trying to get some kind of diagnosis or figure out what's going on with their child. Ever the optimist, Leah decides that after getting divorced, it's time to talk to somebody new, so she finds Jeremy.
I've also been talking to this new guy, Jeremy, on Facebook a lot.
It's so interesting to hear people talk about talking on Facebook, because like that's when Facebook was still like cool. It wasn't just a cesspool for your fucking aunts to tell you their racist theories about things. Leah and Jeremy decide to go on their first date.
Oh my god. Hey.
You ready?
Yeah. Where are we going?
Probably to Grand Prix, ride some go-karts.
Oh my god.
In true guy who wears affliction shirts style, he takes her go-karting for their first date. Only excusable because they are still very young.
Why am I being such a judgmental bitch?
Basically, kind of the running theme is that Leah and Jeremy move really, really quickly. I feel like within the span of like 6 to 8 months, they're engaged.
Wake up.
Did you make me breakfast? Oh, look at the flower. Yes, I will.
And here's where we're going to hit our trigger warning for loss. Okay, for pregnancy loss. During this season, Leah has a miscarriage. Leah finds out that she's pregnant. She's super excited. She's starting this whole life with Jeremy. Then she miscarries, and she's really upset about it. Really, really upset about it. We find out, and we didn't find this out until Leah's book came out. Leah actually had an abortion, not a miscarriage. And she didn't tell Jeremy until after they were married and they had another child. I don't know how I feel about that entirely. It feels very scummy. First of all, it's her body. She can do whatever the fuck she wants with it. I'm not here to say that she can't. But it feels very gross to terminate a pregnancy you were pretending you were excited about. Yeah, that was wild. Corey comes in and they all start to derail. Corey and Leah are both talking about how they still have feelings for each other. Leah's trying to ask him, you know, are we gonna make this work or no? Because I need to know, because I'm not gonna leave Jeremy hanging, which, by the way, like...
Without dragging you along. Like, it's so hard, because I had no closure with Corey. I did agree to go to counseling and stuff with him.
So that pretty much means we're just done?
Yeah.
This girl's gotten more rings than Tom Brady. But either way, she's leaving Jeremy hanging, and that's really shitty. That's two really shitty things before they even got married. But Corey basically decides that he is not gonna try and make it work with Leah after he has like a sit down with Jeremy, which I think is really cool and speaks to both of their characters, honestly.
Would you even be willing to come back and give me my ring back?
I still got it with me.
Yeah, so come home.
Yeah, you can come over and get it.
So Leah and Jeremy get married at the courthouse. I don't remember why they got married at the courthouse. And then they also got married on the beach somewhere.
By the authority of the state of South Carolina, I now pronounce you husband and wife.
During the show's hiatus, Leah and Jeremy have their daughter Adeline.
Jeremy's taking some time off work so he can help out with the new baby, and it's been nice having him around.
So Corey also moved on with this woman named Miranda. They ended up getting married, eventually had a baby as well. And we find out during one of the finale specials that 2 months after Miranda and Corey got married, Corey and Leah hooked up.
Do you want to get started on Miranda?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, let's go. Where were you at during your first couple months of marriage?
Let's go there. Let's go there.
Hit me up.
Let's go.
Keep it in your pants. Can everybody in West Virginia just keep it in their pants? They were also able to get a diagnosis for Allie during all this time as well. They started seeing a specialist in Ohio. Basically, he diagnosed her with a very, very rare form of muscular dystrophy. At the time, I think they said there was only about 20 cases in the world.
So your knees hurt you all the time at school? You already know you have muscular dystrophy, right?
Yes.
What's that mean?
I don't even know.
It means you may have trouble walking or running. For your case, it's really rare. Like, you're the only little girl in the whole entire world that has it. So that makes you very unique.
It's progressive, so as she gets older, it gets worse. It affects her lungs and her heart. It affects all of it. Her ability to carry her own weight. So there's a lot of time where we're looking at, Allie learning how to use a wheelchair. Corey was sort of vehemently against the use of the wheelchair. And I think what he was afraid of was that Leah was going to make her reliant on the wheelchair while she still had the ability to walk. Leah was basically saying, no, I'm not going to force her to use it all the time, but it's good so she doesn't burn out all her energy. They were both saying exactly what they meant, and neither one of them was listening to the other. So during this time, Jeremy is also starting to work a lot more out of state. And evidently he and Leah had an agreement that he would never go X miles out. He continued to take jobs that were farther and farther out. Now, what was going on behind the scenes, I don't fucking know.
When was the last time we had dinner together?
About 6 months ago.
It feels good to have dinner with you because it may be another 3 weeks before I see you, honey.
I mean, it's not really easy being gone.
You have to set work aside and put your
Family first for once.
So you expect me just to quit my job?
No, I don't.
In the footage that MTV gave us, there was a lot of Leah asking for him to be home more, for him to take work closer to home, for him to be around more. Leah was drowning, basically. And this is sort of where we see her drug problem sort of start to surface. At this point, there's a lot of turmoil with Jeremy and with Leah. There was Leah being just outrageously disorganized.
Get in the hole! This has to stop.
Issues with money.
That's another $1,200. That's gone.
I spent money for my business and you're upset.
Mary Kay's your business.
Hey girlie, you want to be your own boss? And allegedly, now this is never, I don't believe this has ever been proven true or false. There was talk that Leah hooked up with Robbie, and they caught him going into the house on their deer cam, which I think is hysterical. Leah and her mom and sister completely deny this. They were, I guess, according to them, they were in contact because, I don't know, something about Robbie needed a boost of confidence. According to Jeremy and their whole family, this is what happened. It is my understanding that there was never any sort of resolution or admission of guilt or rescinding of accusations, so you know. The way MTV shows it, Leah started taking medication for anxiety. The effects that it's having on her do not quite coincide with anxiety medication.
I am so a little tired and I've been sick to my stomach. But I feel like it's mainly like stress and anxiety from like everything. Trying to figure out this divorce stuff and trying to get ready to leave and go away for a little while to work on myself. I don't want anybody to know where I'm going really. And trying to make sure Corey's happy and
yeah, drowsiness or an adjustment period for your equilibrium and your, you know, general awakitude. Definitely something that happens with antidepressants or anxiety medication. But this was something more. Even though Leah continued to deny that there was any sort of problem when confronted by Corey and Miranda.
Listen, can you look at me and Miranda in the eyes and tell us there is no drug problem?
There isn't a drug problem.
Which, by the way, like, I'm of two minds, right? I understand exactly where Corey and Miranda were coming from. They were seeing certain behaviors in Leah that scared the shit out of them, especially because she's the only one that had custody of these two young children. For the safety of those two young children, yeah, you're gonna try to get to the bottom of it, and you're gonna try and make sure that those kids are safe. I also think that if someone is in active addiction, I don't think the right thing to do is to corner them and try to make them feel like a piece of shit for it.
So you are owning up to that you haven't been able to be the best like person for your kids?
And I understand that Miranda and Leah specifically have issues because, again, Leah and Corey hooked up after they got married. I think the action was good. I know that reality TV thrives on drama. I just think that they could have handled that situation off camera for the safety and sake of Leah and the kids. So eventually, again in the book, one of the only other excerpts of Leah's book that I read, she had said that she had a botched epidural with Adeline, and she was prescribed opiates. She got hooked. Leah chose to go to rehab. She went to rehab. I believe she went to a 30-day program. There was this whole setup debacle about Corey not letting Leah have the kids when she returned from rehab. Her mother was basically like, you need to come home, you need to talk to your attorney, you need to solidify custody, and blah blah blah.
What day do you want me to pick them up this weekend? Except for Mother's Day, I'm gonna take them to see their mommy.
Where's it at?
Well, I'd rather not disclose that, Corey.
I really don't want to let my kids go somewhere I don't know where they're going.
They're just going to their mom. I mean...
She didn't discuss none of this with me.
And apparently, as I understand it, that was all staged. Corey did end up filing for full custody of the girls, and he got denied the first time. And the second time he took her, he got granted full custody.
I wanted to go over the order that we got with you. Okay. The judge said that the custodial responsibility had been flipped to the father.
Eventually, after filing a motion to reconsider, they ended up with a 50-50 agreement, which I believe they still have now. Now, all the while, she still had custody of her daughter Adeline that she shared with Jeremy. Jeremy and Leah signed their divorce papers as Leah was headed off to rehab. And it was really, I know a lot of people have opinions about Leah that are not particularly favorable. If you really put her whole story together, you know, getting pregnant with twins so young, years of trying to figure out what's, for lack of a better term, wrong with her child. What accommodations is my child gonna need? One divorce, and then a marriage, and then, you know, Jeremy decides to cut and run, and then her kids are, you know, she's losing custody of 2 of her kids, but it's because she also has this opioid addiction. I'm not saying like she's innocent in it all, because a lot of it is her, about the choices she made, but wow.
Being 17 and young, it's hard. It's not easy.
In terms of custody with Adeline, Jeremy basically just would get her when he got her. Because he worked out of town so much. He was typically home on the weekends, but he had a really long run in South Dakota where he was gone for like a couple months, I believe. And when he came home, he surprised Addie.
Hey, Addie, somebody's at the door.
So I'm leaving the light on for you. So don't let go.
Now this is all well and good and sweet and heartwarming, but he's done this a lot over the years when he comes home, and I don't like it. And I'm going to tell you why. Kids need stability, and they need something that they can count on all the time. Leaving them to hope and guess that, oh, maybe Dad's gonna surprise us again. Oh, maybe he's gonna show up this time. It gives them such an such a dysregulated experience of life, of parents, of love and comfort. The idea is nice, and it's fun to surprise your kids or whatever, but I think that what that kid needs more than a fun surprise that, oh my God, Dad's here, is the stability of knowing when her dad is going to come and go. All that said, during, I want to say, the twins' birthday party or whatever, Jeremy basically apologizes for all of the things that he said about her.
It drives me nuts because it aired on TV. Like the scene that I filmed about, like, with Cam a long time ago.
I do not regret my daughter by no means, but I damn sure regret who I had a child with.
I really truthfully want to, like, deeply apologize for saying that.
I definitely accept your apology.
Just sit down and, like, think about, I don't know, like, me and Dad's been talking, and, like, and Mom, like they can see, like, a world difference from, like, when we split up to, like, who you are now.
Especially from an ex-husband, from a co-parent, I think that's a really, really nice sentiment, and I think moms need to hear that more. But meanwhile, there's all this sexual tension between Jeremy and Leah when they're around each other, and this goes on for a while.
What's the update on you and Jeremy?
Well, last night we went out. We ended up staying the night. There's nothing like. There's no status of any sort.
So it's just a hookup.
Just like,
let's ask him on camera. I'm glad he's gonna start laughing, and he's no. Stay out here. Yes. Hey, look at me. Hook up. Jeremy, look at me.
Yeah, I'll bang your sister's brains out.
Not in front of the kids.
Shortly thereafter, Leah starts dating a new guy named Jason. And Jason is... Jason's icky. He was much older than Leah. He was very odd. The girls didn't like him.
Bryson, did you say that you wanted to poison Jason?
Right, but you guys love Jason, right? No?
Well, that needs to be your first sign, okay? Your kids don't like them, they go. So once they broke up, thank God.
Okay, Maya and Jason broke up, and he was trying to kiss her, but she pushed him back. That's all.
As you guys
finally.
know, so
I told you I don't like him. I don't like him either. He wasn't cute to me.
Addie spent a lot of time trying to get her mom and dad back together, which they did spend a lot of time confusing her, so that adds up.
I want you to marry her dad. My dad.
As I understand it now, Leah is engaged to a guy named Jalen, who everybody thinks is trying to swindle her out of money. If the girls are happy, if Leah's happy, great. So the past couple of seasons of Teen Mom 2 have been kind of boring. I actually didn't even watch this last season, but they've been getting like progressively more boring, which makes sense because by the time you're in your 30s and you have, you know, kids, that's just life. It was just what it is. Like I said, 31 and pregnant was just, that was me. You know, it's not as exciting as 16 and pregnant. I feel like this was much quicker than I thought it was gonna be. It was definitely less like, oh my god, dude, than Janelle's story, but I just feel like there's a lot of important shit in Leah's story that we need to talk about. And I feel like I've left a bunch of it out too, which I probably have. I already know which two moms are next, so don't even try me. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please feel free to give it a like, subscribe. I make new videos whenever I feel like it. My Patreon, channel memberships, social media, all of it. It's linked below. Thank you for so much for watching. Thank you for so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
I don't want a cornbread right now.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. Wow.
My childhood wasn't the best.
He was not handsome. He was not cute. He didn't look like